Thank you for making the time today from, for the webinar on from Excel to Excel chaos to clarity, quick wins with Power BI. We'll be talking about basically how can you make your dashboarding and reporting solutions within Power BI and make it really efficient. I'll be also at the second part of this demo, I'll be using a case study of basically lawyers on demand to show how their management pack and their performance review process, monthly performance review process was transformed along with their board reports. Okay, and how that basically helped them find a few 100,000 of unbilled invoicing. So first of all, who are we and why are we talking about this? I am Tejas Parekh. I am the founder director of Akshar Business Consulting. I have an MBA in finance. I'm a ACMA, CMA qualified FCMA now actually, with a few other certifications and diplomas. From an experience perspective, I've worked with like businesses like AC Nielsen, where I've delivered tax savings and leveraged, helped them even open basically a center of excellence for operations back in India. Then I worked with GE Healthcare in the UK, helped them build analytical models, created a FP&A COE for them, and basically, was the head of EMEA for entire GE Healthcare across, around 60 odd countries. Post which Vodafone, I was working with a group entity working across the globe in all 26 at the time Vodafone companies. We helped implement basically a board. The path which was going to the board was not actually up to the mark, so that needed to be updated, as well as the forecasting methodology was very manual and a very historic focus, whereas it needed to be more driver and project focused. So that is what I have helped implement. Post which I have helped a business transformation program at Excel Wireless, where we turned a loss-making unit into a completely profit-making entity. In 2018, then I started Akshar Business Consulting. Since then, we've worked with businesses like, Dixon's Carphone, implementing a driver-based budgeting, built an investment appraisal model for Premier Inn, worked with Unilever to redesign their entire forecasting cycle to make it from 4-6 weeks to 7 working days. Cinemedia, we implemented InPlan and Power BI, gone through Yo Sushi's, Snowfox, IWSR, and the list of clients basically just keeps growing. Did a 3-year project with Xerox to implement their FP&A COE using InPlan and Power BI for them as well. So, worked in some rather big companies as well as some medium-sized businesses as well. Today, we will be talking a lot more about LOD and Power BI implementation at LOD, essentially. What we'll be going through today, as I said, is a case study on basically how FP&A can leverage Power BI. So this is a case study of, lawyers on demand, where they used to take more than 7 to 10 working days to create their board deck. It was a manual and activity. Formulas were all manually updated. So they had things like, 30-day running totals, running pro revenue and stuff like that in their SaaS environment, which needed manually to be updated. And again, there were like 3 or 4 people doing different parts of the board pack, because it was around like 40-page board pack. It was not very clear of who's doing what. What was needed was automate as much as possible, release time for better analytics and commentary, and provide a connected picture with KPIs which make sense. We used our framework of problem solutions result, and we implemented Power BI, centralizing the reporting. The data set was being produced in less than 2 minutes, and then they were spending a day or day and a half basically writing much more of the commentary and the insights and doing better analytics, which made it a lot more interesting for them. Also, basically, while doing that, they discovered basically 350,000 pounds worth of basically missed invoicing as a part of that activity, which was quite actually interesting. Because once the data was organized, right, you could literally see that, okay, on a particular project, a customer is being invoiced. Now you missed a month or 2 of invoicing, and then again you started invoicing, but those months were never recovered or double invoiced later as well. So it was things like that. You could clearly see a trend of missed invoicing essentially. The way we do these things is basically we always recommend following a problem solution result approach, where the problem being your back office hell, what are you doing in your back office, what are the processes which are being challenging and things like that. So do a detailed discovery around that, then break that challenges into data problems, process problems, and technology challenges to help basically the journey forward. The evolutionary journey then begins of the discovery is done. You define the new ways of working. You design it in practice and see if it works. You then develop it and you test it with basically certain units of verticals, and then you hand it over. We hand it over to the customer for you to basically manage it going forward, and that leaves you in a strategic finance business partner position because you are not wrangling with data. Your processes are as automated as possible, and therefore, and technology is supporting you in the right manner for you to achieve strategic finance business partnering activities where most of our clients, when they are here, they are doing like what, 20 to 40% time in business partnering, whereas by the time they get here, the roles are exactly reversed. Their manual labor is 20% to 30%, whereas 60 to 70 to 80% time is then spent in business partnering. Okay. Uh, Dishant, on that one, do you want to kick off the next board, please? By the way, I really like when people want to ask questions as they go along. So if you have any questions or anything, please do let me know as we go along, and I'll be very happy to answer those. While the poll continues, so one of the key things, most anybody who's attended my webinars previously will know this is one slide which is very, very close to my heart. In terms of what we know, always see like consistently with all our customers is every department has their own basically system which works for them. So for example, finance likes their own ERP or their accounting system and things like that. Whereas HR may have some sort of a system of their own. Generally, sales and marketing will have the CRM system, which is also sometimes connected to invoicing systems to be able to invoice out. There are timesheet systems attached to headcount and things like that. There can be project management systems. So there are all these systems which work in isolation in businesses, which help support those departments. But that is exactly the problem statement of where they are running in isolation. Okay. So that does not work. What we recommend, the architecture which we recommend is taking these and putting them into a Fabric or a Azure or AWS or SQL, something, a cloud-based data warehouse or a data lake solution. Okay. And respectfully, but most businesses fail to realize that you don't own your data. Okay, unless you put a data lake or a data warehouse in place. And let me say that again, you don't own your data till you have a data lake or data warehouse in place. And why do I say that? Is the day you decide to change your, say, for example, accounting system from a Navision or a QuickBooks to a Sage, or take a Sage into a Business Central, what will happen is Sage or NetSuite or Navision or QuickBooks will make it virtually impossible for you to access your previous data. Okay. And therefore, unless you store that data into your own data lake or own data warehouse, you don't own your data. And we have seen this not with one customer or two customers. We've seen it consistently with 60 to 80% of our customers. We see that. Okay, they have lost years of data in their operational space or their basically accounting space and things like that. So that is why I highly recommend putting a data warehouse or data lake in place. Post which this conversation comes into play of using a to power a BI tool like Power BI. I mean, I prefer Power BI over Tableau and everything else. So a BI tool and a CPM or a planning tool, which can then help you deliver value to the business. Okay. This, in my world, the bottom half below the data lake up to the data lake is literally like putting your basically foundation in place. Okay, without your foundation in place, respectfully, what you're expecting out of uh, your FP and your finance department is really impossible to achieve, because you will have Excel books output from here, Excel output from there, Excel output from there, and you're trying to now bring it all together. It just does not work. Okay, so that is the reason why this is critical, and then put BI and FP&A tools on top to actually deliver efficient month ends, reporting solutions, performance management, driver-based budgeting, scenario planning, what-if analysis. There is now now with AI, a lot of the solutions have got AI in them. They have got predictive forecasting in them. There's you can have macro and micro level basically drivers built into your system and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunity on this side, but without getting your fundamental structure in place and your right tool set in place, you cannot deliver value. So this is really, really very, very critical for people to understand as business leaders that you guys are essentially. Okay. Uh, with that, I'd like to launch your next poll to see what are your thoughts. So currently your reporting processes, are they manual? Do you have data quality issues? What is your biggest pain point in your current you know reporting solutions that you have? So we are like almost what we are enough people, man. I mean, a few more responses, please. Also, while the poll is going on, I like an interactive session. So honestly, if you want to ask questions, please unmute yourself and ask as many questions as you need. Uh, Everybody should be able to unmute yourself and ask questions. If you have a challenge with that, please shout in the chat and we will make sure that we unmute you. Because it is always good to, have an interactive session rather than me talking and everybody just listening. Does this raise any questions? Does it make you think about your current reporting environment or anything? Anything that you think is interesting that you'd like me to clarify so far? Because generally on this slide, I get a lot of questions. So I'd like to encourage you guys to also ask a lot of questions and see if there is anything I need to clarify further. Yes, Asif, go right ahead, mate. Unmute yourself, Asif.
So one of the things that I frequently see in this, what is elaborated in this slide, is that people miss the data lake portion.
Yes.
So either it is not suggested to them, or they just prefer to go direct, because when data lake comes in, and it is typically being handled in a more IT manner and not in a more business centric manner, then it becomes quite a confusing project for what if people are trying to achieve. And if you, let's say, ask about KPIs from the company, that what you would like to see and all, there's a 200 KPI list that comes out, which often makes no sense. So that is why I've seen that this step is missed out, and that is where the mess starts, because then FP&A gets all the raw data rather than a data lake.
I agree. So, okay, so let me break that up into two parts, right? One is that data lake step is missed. It's missed, and when yes, Power BI can connect directly to QuickBooks, can directly connect to SAP, directly connect to Oracle, to Business Central, to most of your Microsoft products. Okay, so it can connect directly to a lot of stuff, and then via API also it can connect to even more stuff. But the problem then remains the day you take Navision out and put, say, Business Central in, you have lost all that data. Your Power BI now doesn't have that historical data to feed on. Okay, so you can't do versus prior year. You can't
Exactly.
look at a 2 or 3 year trend. You are now messed up, right? So you still have a problem. Whereas if you put a data lake in middle, basically, it becomes a lot more efficient because you have stored your data. Yes, it does mean that there is a certain amount of IT involvement, but even the smallest customer we are serving right now is a 16 million turnover business. We've not gone with anything fancy. We've gone with Fabric. Fabric, the annual license is coming up to be for them £6,500 per annum per year. Okay, let me repeat that, 6,500 per year. Very respectfully, most businesses can afford 6,500 per year as a data lake license. Okay, it's not those days are gone, where a Azure or a AWS licenses used to cost a whole ton of money. Uh, okay, so Bhanu, your question is correct. Can you see my screen, Bhanu? At least give me, you can unmute yourself. So if you ignore the poll for a minute, can you at least see my screen, Bhanu? Bhanu, you can give me a thumbs up, or you can basically unmute yourself. You should be able to unmute yourself. When I say fundamentals in place or basics in place, I mean a data lake which brings all the different sources of data of key sources of data from your business into a singular data lake. Okay, and let me be very, very clear what I mean again by that. So my CRM has, for example, my pipeline data of what the key accounts I'm working on and things like that. The same account naming convention of my customer prospect is ABC Limited. That becomes now my customer ABC Limited. Then my invoice has still ABC Limited on the invoice. So for example, by having a data lake, you can now clean customer names. Okay. I am sure if all of you are finance people, you will have experienced this at some point in time in your life where you're looking at customer names and the same customer name has got 5 different versions, if not more, in different systems. Okay, it's a nightmare. All of that can be cleaned up if you have a central repository where you can see all the mess. If you can see the mess, you can clean it. If you can't see the mess, you can't clean it. It's not very deep. Okay, so that is why this is what I mean by basically getting your fundamentals in place before you start putting the fancy automation, AI, KPI measurement, all those driver-based budgeting, scenario planning, what if analysis, all of that is very nice. But if your fundamentals are not in place, you are not going to be able to do that consistently enough. I have seen far too many FP&A teams basically in my last 2 decades. When the board is asking something, they will do a quick and dirty analysis in Excel, present it. A, they're not sure of the data, and B, they can only do it one-off. They cannot do it on a consistent basis, and therefore respectfully, but they're not best-in-class FP&A teams. When you have this kind of infrastructure in place, you can do it a lot more consistently. That's what makes you a best-in-class FP&A team. Okay. Any more questions or comments, insights on this one? Anybody would like to share their story on this one? Or should I move on? Okay, I'll take that as a move on. So I'm about to basically show you 3 ways in which you can automate a board pack. Okay, and a board pack, I'm using board pack as an example. Please don't, get hellbent on it. You can use this for performance reviews. You can use this for monthly management packs, for any sort of reporting which is done on a consistent basis. Daily sales report. It can be done for a whole lot of stuff depending on whatever you need out of it. Okay. But before I show you that, I want to understand where you guys currently are. So I'm going to launch a poll. Let me know if everybody can see their poll. Okay. But I'd like to understand how long does it currently take you guys to do your reporting and forecasting? Sorry, reporting, not forecasting, reporting. So management packs, performance review packs, daily sales report, quarterly review packs, think of stuff like that, which you're doing either for your board or for different verticals, different regions. That's what we are looking at. Okay. I've got 4 responses. I need a couple more before I can start this one. So come on, guys, couple more, please. Okay. I'm going to go into the demo. Remember, there are 3 methods I would like to discuss with you. First is a straightforward Power BI conversation, okay, which is basically, this is Power BI services. On the left-hand side are my data sources, okay. In the middle are my models, okay, and third is my reports. respectfully, if you can see in the same folder, this is a folder. So again, I can have multiple workspaces. Okay, this is my business workspace. So you can have business workspaces. Each workspace is like your basically, how do you call this? A folder. Within the folder, I have multiple data sources and I have multiple models and I've got multiple reports coming out of it. Okay. And again, you can restrict access at workspace level, at model level, and at report level. And within the report, you can basically also restrict access. So it depends on which level do you want to restrict access to. So from a security point of view as well, I know a lot of finance people on the call, so you'll be worried about, oh, Tejas, but we can't share, all information with everybody. No, you don't need to. Okay, this really can have all the security that you need to put stuff away. First, I'll show you a simple one-pager dashboard, which you can have revenue on there, cost on there, profits on there, multiple years, multiple quarters. If I take the quarter completely off, you can get the full year number and things like that. I can dance around as quickly as you can see. You can have a geographical chart. So something like this is much more suitable for your sales dashboard or your pipeline dashboard and things like that, which is done on a weekly basis, daily basis, or every even 6 hour basis. Okay, because this can be updated every 2 hours or every 1 hour if you really need it to. That is the art of the possible. Okay. Uh, yeah. Second is this one. This unarguably is one of my favorite, basically one. Why is this my favorite? Because essentially what happens here is it's a simple P&L. Then we've broken the P&L down into revenue compared to budget as a bridge. You've got your by organization split and basically versus prior year. The beauty of this one is I can go MTD, I can go QTD, or I can go YTD whenever, like at a click of a button. I can look at prior years, I can look at prior months, look at 3 months together, in whatever combination I choose and stuff like that. So which just means my analysis is really very quick. Okay, I can actually do my analytics pretty reasonably quickly. Okay, the other element you get with this is then you can go to level two. Okay, so what we've now done here, I've taken the operating cost of say 7081, and here you can see the 7081, and it is now split up here by department and bottom by basically the type of cost it is. Okay, labor cost, depreciation, telephone, rent, blah blah blah. Okay, Tejas, I have all of this already in my Excel. Why do I care about this? Now R&D is 2.7. If I click on R&D 2.7, I can see 2.7. I can see exactly the breakdown immediately. Okay, so it works at the speed of my thinking. Oh, okay, R&D and my corporate are my two big buckets. I want to see both of them together. So this is 5.7 roughly. 5.7 gives me the full breakdown. Okay, it also gives me the breakdown by basically region, for example. Now, if I want to only focus on Northeast division, I am now for R&D corporate and Northeast division, I can see the breakdown. Okay, it is literally that fast. Nobody has to come from operations team or from management or from executive C-suite to you and ask you for the numbers of what does this number look like, what is this. They don't have, they can do it themselves, number one. Number two, you are never worried about accuracy because these numbers will come from your ERP or accounting software, and therefore essentially they tie to your books. Okay, so there's no reconciliation activity around this. Okay. Now again, for this is just for a demo purpose, so we've just made a P&L and operating expenses. Easily, obviously, we could make a revenue breakdown. We could make, so many other things. Margin analysis for that, and things like that. You can have revenue by customer, revenue by product, revenue by so whatever, a whole bunch region and things like that. So you could have a whole lot of analytics around it. This is just for your kind of understanding of. You could completely have your entire pack in here. One of the key things remember on this one though is you cannot write commentary. Okay. So in this, at this minute, the way it stands at the minute, I can't write any comments, but it's still a very good analytical dashboard, which means when I'm trying to do analysis in a business, it is very efficient and saves a whole lot of time and effort. Uh, I am. ab- I'll show you one more, then I'll open up a little bit more for questions. So now this is where we have tried to do some modeling. So we've taken the staff and say broken down them down into four. Every business has got banding or salary grades. So we've broken down into four grades, and then we're saying, okay, what if entry level people I want to increase their salary by 15%? Okay. Uh, okay, and I want to basically junior level people I want to increase their salary by 7.5%. Okay. 7.5. Sorry. Okay. And then mid-level, I want to increase by, I don't know, 4%. 0.04, I mean. And senior, I want to increase by 0.015. Okay, it doesn't like it. So 0.01, 0.02. Okay, so by 2%. You can even do certain amount of modeling within Excel, within Power BI itself. Okay, this is base version of Power BI. I have not gone into the advanced version just yet. There is an advanced version which I'm going to about to touch base on. But so far, does it seem interesting in terms of you'd like to know more? Does it make any sense so far? Any feedback, questions, anything before I go into the next two demo elements? Comments? Okay. Lee is giving me a thumbs up. Anybody else? Thumbs up, thumbs down, Q&A. Okay. Fine. Let's look at this. So this is a full pack that we've made. So income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, age, debtors, revenue. And literally, we are in the process of delivering this for a customer from a forecast standpoint as well. We finished their management pack like this, and it works beautifully. To quote their COO's words, this is paradigm shifting. Okay, because now they can see the numbers without calling up the finance director. Okay, they can get on with decision making without calling up anybody or without doing anything. Okay, it's there, it's always there, it is updated. On this one, obviously, we have again, you can have 2016, 17, 18, you can have by month, you can have a lot of options on there. Okay, so they can go and self-service themselves around this, which is what she as a COO finds life-changing because she like this makes my life so much easier. Okay, and again, if I so for example, look at this one. So age data, if I click on a card group, I can see their invoices only. If I click on there, I can see their invoice level detail. When is the due date? How many days are left? Blah, blah, blah. I can start seeing things at that level. I can see aging buckets. So for them, we've done it slightly differently. We've done the aging buckets on the top here and things like that. So again, the whole point is if you build this data structure correctly, it is a very interactive activity which you can do. Can write capabilities be added? Yes, Tim, that's literally where I'm about to go. So it's a very good question. So the writing ability is there is something called InPlan. I'm sure a lot of people have seen Eric on LinkedIn. Uh, he is the founder director of basically InPlan. This is a basically in very simple words, a add-in into Power BI. If I was going to make my life and your life very, very simple, okay, it is basically a add-in within Power BI. Uh, can we know the purpose of editing mode, which is done in Power BI services, salary increment, for example? So let's be very simple. So this edit mode is to redesign this if I want to make it look different. This is not for that. This edit is to do modeling. Okay, this is a slicer. So this is like I could say senior staff, I want to increase this junior staff by 38%, this by 20%. Okay. So the advantage of having this kind of editability is to do modeling, which you would do in Excel normally, but you want people outside of finance to be able to play with this and model this out. So this idea, in fact, frankly, came to us from a head of HR. She was looking to present something to the board. Uh, Obviously, we had to whitewash the data, but she had basically entry level people, and these are the people. Junior level people, these are the people, and things like that. And then she could model a standard increase at the band level, and then over that, she wanted to do individual level increase if that is different to the band, and model out what would be the new salary. And she wanted to be able to show this live, do this modeling with the directors by each department. So this is a small cut piece from there. So that's the point of editing within Power BI. But yeah, so this, it's just a very good interactive analytical tool for you to be able to take decisions and be able to drive action in a business. Okay. Uh, InPlan is an add-in within Power BI. It basically helps you write back into Power BI. So that answers Tim's question. Uh, so, and it helps you to do more. So this is your normal Power BI visual, you- where the revenue is broken down by basically GL accounts. All the cost is broken down by GL accounts with some category subcategorization of the same. Okay, but you can't really do much more than that. But here in AimPlan, when I use a AimPlan as a functionality, I can then break up the GL account, for example, by cost center, and that is a cost center that I've selected here. I can have this is broken down by GL accounts, but personnel cost is broken down by category, uh, things like that. I can have KPIs of results per cost center. I can have profit percentage. I can have a whole lot of different things in one visual table, which makes it very interesting. Second thing and most interesting thing which you can do is, for example, this one. So Stockholm, I'm writing a comment. I'm going to change this and I'm going to just write, you just test. Okay. And I'm going to save this. Okay, so now this has got saved into Power BI, into basically the data warehouse. So now when I take the Stockholm off, if I put all the other cost centers, you still see you can't see Tejas test. Okay, but if I bring Stockholm back, there is Tejas test. Okay, again, if I change the legal entity to, for example, Germany, it doesn't come because Stockholm is not in Germany clearly, right? It is in Sweden. What else? Okay, if I change the scenario, if I make it version 2 budget, look at the comment is disappeared. So that comment is associated with this scenario, that cost center, that legal entity this year, basically very, very, very specific. Okay, so you can write comments at, now how do I use this? You can write comments at scenario level, at department or division level, and then record it and then keep summarizing up as you go along. Okay, so you now have ground level detailed insights and commentary, and then you've got region level commentary, and now you can have group level commentary, and everything is at hand. So on that Thursday afternoon or a Friday afternoon, when you're trying to finish a commentary for your board pack, you don't have to go and hunt. Oh, by the way, what did US tell me, or what did the marketing team tell me, or what did the operations team tell me? Get them to put the commentary in Power BI, in InPlan. It's documented. They can't change their story, and you can pick up that story and make basically your group level or board level presentation out of it. Plus, the beauty is, you can see basically sub-ledger level details. I'm going to try and find a cost which I can show you some details on. I thought this is not going to be looking very good, is it? I thought this is shares. Trying to find a cost, man. Guys, this P&L doesn't have much. This is operational cost. So now I've taken operational cost of 4625. You can see 4625 there. I can see every account level detail behind the 4625 and that. And not just that. So for example, electricity cost, if I click on this, if your invoices have been scanned and are attached to your system and things like that, and they are in a structured manner, you can even get that link built into Power BI and InPlan, which means you can literally go to this level of detail. So for example, if I go to 489, right? See 489. First, look at the speed at which my 489 has come in. Okay, and fuel cost for vehicles. Click on that. I can see the invoice for fuel cost for vehicles. In a matter of seconds, literally in a matter of seconds. Sorry, Tim's question. Do you have an output that shows all commentary similar to Excel printing? Yes, you can basically save this as basically PDF. So you can, but not all together, right? Because Tim, that you would have one page for your department, second page for your region, third page for your group, thing like that. And on the right, you can have commentary. Yes, you can export it to PDF. So you can export this to PDF. You can also export it to PowerPoint, but yeah. So yes, you can. Plus, obviously, you can do comparisons to plan, comparisons to various scenarios and things like that. Also, InPlan is a tool which can help you with forecasting in Power BI. But because this webinar is not talking about forecasting ability yet, this I'm not going to discuss much more in detail. But yes, there is forecasting ability in InPlan, so you can do forecasting in Power BI. This works for in two very good scenarios. You can have a sales forecast, you can have a people forecast, you can have a total P&L forecast. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, but for small, medium-sized businesses, not basically some of like not like a Xerox or Unilever or GE Healthcare side of businesses, but yeah, small, medium businesses can actually start using this. So if you have got like 20 Excel books which you are trying to do forecasting in, this is something to check out as well. Get in touch. I'm happy to do a full detailed demo on forecasting in InPlan as well. So that is the ability of with InPlan of actually getting not only your management packs essentially automated, getting your insights very well organized, but also do your forecast in that same environment as well. Okay. So that is the advantage with this one. So I've now showed you, and I forgot one. Okay, and now the third one, which is what we did with logs on demand, because at the time InPlan was not we were not working with InPlan yet. So for them, basically, we made something like this. Okay, so you see this, literally everything is connected. So if I change this to August, I've got July 2007, right? So let me make it me 07. Okay. It's going to ask me to sign in, isn't it? There is me signing in. Let's see if it likes it. I will have to do verification on my phone. It likes it. There you go. So basically, look, it's going to Power BI Online and it is getting the data from Power BI Online. I don't know if you can see at the bottom. It is showing me basically running query, background query. Okay, so yes, this is Excel, and yes, I'm not a big fan of Excel, but the advantage of this kind of a structure is the fact that you can now have Excel which is connected to live data sets. Okay, it is formed on formulae like this, which are not your normal Excel formula. These are all your Power BI cube formulas. Okay, we've used that and a certain amount of data structure to work this. Again, we've put a slicer just to give you an example. So for example, if I want to see only North American operations, so if I'm doing a review with the North American team, that's your dashboard. Now explain these numbers to me. Explain your revenue walk to me. Explain what is happening here. Explain what is happening there. Oh, by the way, I want to see the whole group. I've got whole group here. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. And this is not me doing this there is no data tab here. I can show you. Basically, there is no data tab in this Excel book. Okay. This is just our rough work, which we have been doing for this, but there is no data tab. There is no hidden data tab, which we are not showing you. This is all connected live to the P&L in the basically in the cloud, essentially. So now imagine this could be a board pack because I could basically make this view as a page break view. And there you go. Now you print off this page, write commentary in the bottom and then print off the page. Okay, or put it in your PowerPoint. That's your board pack done. Okay, it can be literally as efficient. So numbers part can be very, very efficient. Okay, and then the question is basically about how much time does it take you to write the commentary and things like that. So again, this one, if you remember, we saw the same numbers online. Now, this is the same departments, right? So R&D and blah, blah, blah. So the R&D is 969. If I want to see our R&D numbers here, come on, there you go. 969,327, 969,327. Tell me the breakdown by cost type. Similarly, I want to see, okay, labor expenses by department. Take this back to all. This is labor expenses. So total labor expenses for this entire business was 2 million for this for May 2007, 2 million by department. Okay. And this is all connected live. So now during your month end as well, think that way. You can keep monitoring the numbers to see if the numbers which are being baked into the ERP, are they correct? Every 1 hour, 2 hours, you can have that refresh. Means you are actually supporting your controllership team to make sure that they have got all the accruals correct, all the prepayments correct, things like that. A marketing event is happening and the invoices have not been come in yet. You can help them accrue for that and all of that kind of stuff. I've also got basically recommendation of Cinemedia on my LinkedIn and things like that, where basically 2 days of their month-end process was reduced just because of Power BI and Anaplan in place. Okay. Technically, they are FP&A tools and therefore they should be helping FP&A. And yes, they were definitely help changing life in FP&A, but they were also helping controllership and accounting teams. Think that way. So it's not a one-side solution. It actually helps across the board. Okay. Uh, so these are kind of so I said 3 ways of automating your board packs. So if we go back, where is my thing? So one is a standard board pack. You can have something like this, right? Without ability to write commentary. Second is something like this with ability to write commentary. Again, this is a simple visual. You could have basically KPI visuals and whatever else, right? Every graph that you need can be brought into InPlan as well. So one is without commentary, your straightforward Power BI. Second is with implant Power BI. And third is in Excel, though I am discouraging more and more people to use this and rather directing them towards the implant, if that is possible. Okay. So that are 3 ways of automating your performance review packs, your board packs. Tim, aim plan versus Vena, what are the main decision criteria for selection? Aim plan, if you are like 1 or 2 legal entities, less than 5 legal entities, I'd say you've got single currency, so there is a bunch of thought processes around it. In terms of the simpler the business, the smaller the business, sub 10 million, sub 15 million businesses, Implan and Power BI are more than enough. Even the 16, 17 million business where we are implementing Implan at the minute, they love it from because given what they had. Okay, but now that they're going through the journey, they're like, yeah, but what if I want to do this? What if I want to do that? I'm like, yeah, but you chose aim plan. I showed you when I as well. You didn't want you wanted to run on a budget. So the finance director is already accepting that they just in 3 years' time we might want to upgrade to aim plan Vena because basically it looks like there is a lot of stuff we can do with this automation tools. I'm like, yep. So yeah, I mean the bigger you go, the more functionality you get. The question is, what is the problem you're trying to solve? Remember the framework that we started with in my PowerPoint presentation, where we basically talked about problem, solution, result. So depends on the problem that you're trying to solve. We will propose a solution and we'll get you the result to solve that problem. Yeah, that does mean we very often get customers who will be like, yeah, you solved this problem, but now I want this functionality as well. And that's not a start scoping conversation. So the more long-term strategic problem we frame, the better long-term strategic result and solution you can get. The magic lies there. This is generally very reasonably straightforward to deliver, if that makes sense. And then actually, thank you, Tim, for asking that question, because that brings me back to my slide deck, because I've showed you the 3 ways of automating your performance review packs and board packs using Power BI, plain Power BI with Excel, and Power BI with InPlan. So you've got 3 different ways of working with this. So now what happened at LOD? Okay, 7 days needed to automate. Basically, we did a lot of working with the key stakeholders, implemented Power BI and Excel, mapped the end-to-end process, redesigned their board because the KPIs also some of the calculations were not very clear. So we had to document for them what the KPI conversations are. The whole pack of around 40 pages was being produced by Power BI in Excel in less than basically a minute. Basically, I'm even writing 2 minutes just to be safe. Less than a minute, right? It took like 40 seconds, 50 seconds. So he'd put his Power BI, his Excel for refresh, and he'd go and make his tea. He comes back, everything is done. Okay, then the point is only to write commentary and insights around it. Okay, time for better commentary, much more focused discussion. So again, to quote the Australian finance director in at Lawyers on Demand, her statement was, "Tejas, now I have time to write something sensible in my board pack." Okay. I know it sounds very simple, but actually that was really, really touching because she was like, she was writing comments like revenue is up by 2%, cost is down by 5%, profit is up. Any idiot can read that on the P&L. But by the time after 7, 10 days of work, she was so tired that she had no energy to write something insightful. There's no time to write something insightful because she has no time to talk to other departments or talk to other in regions and things like that. Now she has the time to do that. Her insights and her commentary was much more future focused. Like, okay, we've revenue is short this quarter, but it'll be up next quarter because this is what is expecting. Something has shifted from this quarter to next quarter, or something different is going to happen. Things like that. A lot more sensible conversations were happening. In fact, they got feedback from the board after 3 months. They're like, something is different in your board packs. It sounds a lot more interesting and insightful now. Okay. And that coming from your board is very, very, it's like a pat on your back. They found missing invoicing. They found opportunities with their existing customers for doing more projects and things like that. So in fact, marketing and sales team started using those things as well. And profitability by customer, by product line and things like that were now possible in an automated manner. So yes, they used to do that every once in a while. Once in 6 months, somebody in the board is asking, "What is the profitability of this particular product line?" They'll figure it out. They'll do some mumbo jumbo in Excel and they'll present it. But instead of that, basically, it became now a standard practice within a structured reporting environment. Okay, this is the feedback I got from them. This is on my basically LinkedIn. Go, so you can definitely go and even ask Paul to verify it if you like it. Okay, I'm still in touch with him. I mean, I'd like to say I made a friend. Uh, okay, as a part of today's offering, basically, and this webinar, I'm offering basically a free strategic review of your FP&A infrastructure. So again, my whole data lake and Power BI and EPM and that kind of a conversation to review what data sources you have, how processes, take a process or two and map that out. Take Look at your technology to see what is the room for automation and things like that, to create a roadmap for your FP&A transformation, to basically see how you can actually start taking pieces of the challenging parts of your FP&A environment and transform it in a step-by-step manner. So if that is what something you're interested in, please reach out on below contact details. Most of you, I think, have come from LinkedIn, so you would know me on LinkedIn for sure. So reach out on LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to have that conversation.